Clearly a Dragonite, but of interesting note, if they're going to keep it, Trevenant right now, ladies and gentlemen, TTV slash Can, not only changing things up, being that Venusaur, that was earlier, but now to go with the Trevenant, we're just going to have to see what really manifests out of that, because Trevenant was not exactly game-breaking when it came in.
Yeah, this is really interesting. You see Slash Can and Egg Morning switch roles, right? Like, Egg Morning was the support player earlier in the game, but now they're switching places with the Trevenant just to see how well they can get this to work. And it is a really interesting set because, like, depending on which way you go with Trevenant, whether you want to go for kind of the slower, slow down the opponent kind of build, or if you want to go for more of the crowd control, you have the option to do either. And it makes it really difficult for some of these players to kind of figure out how they want to go about it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. First look at, you know, having a Phantump into Trevenant, and where is that going to lead in the grand scheme of these games?
Ladies and gentlemen, just want to build up your hype right now. Grand Finals, TTV versus Tamagotchi Crew. You love to see it, so let's see those cheers in the chat. And I want to give a quick production note, and then we'll move right past that. Just want to reiterate, if you are seeing that this is re-uploaded by another channel, I'd like to ask that any other channels who are not authorized to do so, please do not re-upload these VODs to your channel. And if you're seeing this as a viewer, you know, on another YouTube channel, feel free to put in the report for that. So yes, only authorized users, please. And so moving past that though, Tamagotchi Crew right now with 1 point ahead of TTV, but obviously still very early in this game and anything can happen.
Yeah, they're gonna try to keep that pressure up. You see Toon once again going for that Dragonair, getting that pressure through, and yep, instantly dives into the into the bush and says, "Hey, Chaotic, what's up?" Yeah, just trying to make sure that the Talonflame cannot get anything off in this fight. And yeah, Dragonite is definitely a harder target to bring down, but Lutano is going to get brought down here. Chaotic is also not going to be good here either. But yeah, the rest of the team is continuing on with their scoring ways. TTV applying the pressure early, and yeah, I do agree with the way how our chat is kind of pointing it out. Dragonair and Dragonite is a lot harder of a target to full dive and kill. So Chaotic definitely needs to get their levels up and take care of everybody else first. So that is going to be target priority, and how is the Talonflame going to be able to play this out?
That's right, you have to be oh so careful, and I'm sure that Tamagotchi Crew knows who TTV is. I mean, they know that they're going to come correct, and so they came to play, and with that, you know, how are you going to counter this? And so maybe one thing is what Talonflame's doing right now. We're going to see Chaotic try to come in here and just cripple them, you know? Lutano is going to back that up. That's exactly what needs to happen. If your jungler can't match that, although, you know, there was no discretion, supposedly Toon probably could have handled that, but Lutano still coming in and just quickly says, hey, let's shut that down. So if that Talonflame does try to come into the jungle and steal and cripple that Dragonite, you know, from becoming Dragonite, let's say, then that would be that's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We see the way how the team is playing out. A lot of damage coming through in the Hyper Beam, going to be able to just erase two of them there. As they are slowly starting to get ready for that first objectives mark here. Tamagotchi Crew taking advantage and saying, you know what, if we cannot secure the bottom lane, let's just take up top. And that's what they're going to trade. They're going to say, hey, we're going to go and grab this as quickly as we can and try to get some levels maybe going our way of our Ivysaur. Just let them get what they can. Lutano is lurking though. He's not really lurking, he's just saying, I'm here. But yeah, the rest of the team is trying to apply the pressure now. So Tamagotchi Crew trying to push forward, maybe get a couple of goals here. Egg Hiroki trying to survive here. It's not going to happen as Lutano is going to be able to bring him down. Egg Hiroki is going to be able to trade out though. They grab a couple more on the way in, and a huge 40 dunk going their way. So good on them to apply that pressure, as you see Chaotic now finding Goof one-on-one, going to try to break down Goof. He's already at Chaotic's at full HP, so Goof is going to be able to take both of the Citrus Berries away. And Chaotic tried to run away. Never mind, he's turning back. And the ultimate's going to be popped by Goof. Zogrug is also here for the support, and Toon going to be able to clean that up as well. So Chaotic having the right idea to maybe try to get that pick, but good rotations by TTV to secure the rest of the team here.
Yes, what a nice turnaround right there. You guys all saw it, and props to Goof for surviving that. I mean, that was exactly what you needed to do. It wasn't quite the obvious play if you were Goof, and so, again, just many props. Chaotic now trying to come in and make this up, but we're seeing the Unite moves get thrown down, so that will, once again, turn the tides. So, taking Talonflame out of this, so KFC gonna have a little bit harder time, right? As we're gonna see Zugra get in this nice 40 on the bottom lane and break that bottom goal.
Yeah, just break that bottom goal, get ready for Dreadnought that is going to spawn in about 20 seconds or so, so good on them. And yeah, Tamagotchi Crew is now having to scramble around a little bit. They tried to ruin the tempo of TTV on occasion by going to their jungle, maybe taking a couple of creeps here and there, but overall, like, it's just working out more in the favor of TTV, applying a lot of pressure. As you see, Zug trying to get that sleep off, but the dive coming in. Chaotic going to be able to take out Zug, so that's going to be the first form of CC out of here. But Goof is going to return the favor, taking out the Ivysaur. Egg Hiroki trying to keep it going on Goof. Goof trying to get away here, but Chaotic chasing him down. With that damage, though, it's going to be crazy. Lutano comes back full HP, going to be able to burst that down, and Chaotic is now on the run. Or is he trying to? He's trying to get in here. The ultimate coming through. Deal the damage, but the damage is already there.
That's right. So that was many KO trade-offs right there. You just saw it transpire, and then look at this TTV with that advantage, having those shields. That's generally what's going to happen. Kanashi and I noted when it didn't happen. Of course, it's not just a sure thing, but your team is usually all together. They've just gotten shields, if not all together. There's like 4 of them, 3 of them against, lesser odds. And so the other interesting component here, or something that we should point out perhaps, is just that when you look at TTV's average leveling, I mean, they are pretty much ahead enough to be, it's a significant lead, right, in levels, just as a team average. But even just on an individual basis, I mean, you're noticing that Eldegoss, Venusaur still on Tamagotchi Crew at level 9, so not even in the double digits at this time. And so Chaotic as that Talonflame, the only one really that can kind of stack up, and that's really just going to be on a one-on-one. It looks like Slashcan will try to push back with that Horn Leech right now. Yeah, gonna go ahead and push the Rotom even further back. Use the hammer, but no, it's actually going to go down right there. Definitely outnumbered.
Yeah, and they're just creating enough space and trying to get a 50 dunk in, and that's exactly what Indie Bear's gonna do. Get that quick dunk in after that Rotom touches. So very good on them, applying a lot of pressure. And Tamagotchi Crew is having a really tough time right now. Like, as you stated, leveling is TTV's middle name. There's no L there. They don't take those. But yeah, for the most part, it's just applying so much pressure that the other team can't really operate. So Tamagotchi Crew, all they have right now is Chaotic. If Chaotic happens to find a good pick left and right, like, that'll go well for them. But other than that, it's really tough for Tamagotchi Crew to continue the fights here.
I would say perhaps other than the use of Tree, and we're quoting Thor, aren't we? Oh, this is my friend Tree, but the use of Tree might be the only questionable thing. It's just, I think Tamagotchi Crew really came in with the right ideas. It's just, did we execute? Well, TTV has outplayed them at most measures of the game. And so you can have the right ideas, it's just how do you execute it, just like we said. But what really transpires, you have to always adapt. It's kind of like the physical meeting up with the mental, am I right? And so Slashcan going to try to come in here and disrupt Lutano, but no, we are in that final stretch, ladies and gentlemen, and TTV is on fire.
Yeah, they're in the lead by a solid margin. So now it's just a matter of how do they play around the mid? Do they give up certain space? Is it worth it? Does it look like it? Toon is coming in here. They're going to get pushed away with Slashcan on that Trevenant. Going to be able to pop the Unite move as well. Trying to deal some damage onto Indy. But Indie Bear is just wiggling his way out. Staying close to the team. And Slashcan just trying to maybe get some damage going in their favor. But dropping pretty low. Wood Hammer followed up both ways. And the Hyper Beam is going to be able to bring him down. And yeah, just about a minute left. You already see TTV pushing into their spawn in their jungle already, trying to take away as much of the advantage as possible. So if TTV just doesn't take the Zapdos, they could just push forward.
Well, that's right. And so right now they are going to see that they obviously do have a huge lead. I think they would kind of know that just in their own minds while they're playing. TTV obviously seasoned enough, of course. And Slashcan really trying to do everything he can as a limited tree can. But look at this, getting picked off by 3 right there near the bottom lane. And that allows Zugrug, mostly uncontested. You know, there's this Venusaur kind of nearby, but definitely has his hands full too. And so that will be what a goal for a hundo dropped in there from Zugrug as the Wiggly. And so we're also going to see Lutano make an assault for that top lane, maybe be disrupted by Venusaur. Yes, that's going to confirm that. Seeing a few Unite moves pop off. We got the Cotton Cloud Crash. We also had that Flame Sweep, but Pikachu coming to meet it right there, hand in hand, fire with fire. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to turn them around. And so now TTV having an advantage right here going into the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, and TTV is just applying as much pressure as they can. They're getting a couple more dunks in the main goal. If they have enough time... Yeah, so we'll see if the score actually went through, but overall, like, TTV having a lot of pressure, and Tamagotchi Crew tried to do something with the tree, trying to reposition people out of position and get what they can, but the amount of pressure that TTV has going into this first match, like as you can see, a couple donuts for them. Couldn't quite get the scores going in their favor. So overall, you know, TTV doing what they needed to do, coming out the gate strong. And yeah, Tamagotchi Crew definitely has to make the adjustments. And as we've seen, you know, from Gengar's Goons, the match that they had in their semifinals, they tend to make solid adjustments. And if that is gonna be enough, maybe they could give TTV a little bit of a run for their money.
That's right, and that's, you know, we're bouncing back to our usual script, am I right? Because we are always saying, how do you adjust after that first game, you know? So in this, when you have a best of 5, you have a few chances to adjust. It really can become a lot of pressure, though. If TTV maybe wins that next match, it's really the heat is going to be, the pressure will be on for Tamagotchi Crew. So they're obviously going to hope to pull out that victory right here and make this a one-on-one. We are, of course, just wanting to let our viewers at home know that the teams will be switching sides once again. So just make sure that's not a jarring change for you, that we do have the Tamagotchi Crew as purple this time and TTV representing orange. So... ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see the team pick, the Pokemon picks and the item picks transpire right here, and it's all going to unfold.
Yep, and it looks like we're kind of back to our regular scheduled programming, better stated. So Egg Hiroki back onto the Lucario. We have Slashcan back on the Venusaur, and then the Wigglytuff and Eldegoss mainly for Tamagotchi Crew, and TTV running another standard, pretty much the same comp that they ran last game, just applying that pressure once again. So I feel like if this game doesn't go in the way of Tamagotchi Crew, the adjustment would probably be to either switch Chaotic onto something that has a little bit more HP, a little bit more sustain. But if it does work out in their favor and they like constantly pick off Goof, Indie Bear, or Zug, like Talonflame could be really big in those fights. So I feel like this is once again another barometer game. If it works out for them, it's going to be Tamagotchi Crew is going to continue to run this. If not, we could definitely we might be able to see an adjustment moving into game 3.
Definitely so. And so that was the starting buzzer just a little while ago, if you want to call it that, ladies and gentlemen. So going with our bottom lane, it's kind of as you would imagine, we're running our typical 1-1-3, and so obviously having Chaotic here now in our jungle on this side, and that'll be for Tamagotchi Crew with Toon obviously staying jungle as that Dragonite. It's exactly, I think, as you would all imagine it right here. Seeing a little bit of this skirmish on the bottom lane, gonna all contest for the Audinos. What is gonna happen? Well, stay tuned.
Yeah, it's gonna get caught up with the net early, so Goof is gonna be able to get a little bit more space here as they take away that Wigglytuff at bottom. Meanwhile, you know, Lutano and the rest of the crew is still gonna continue to dunk away, get as many points up at top, and play the standard Lucario game that we got going on, which is hit A-Pomp, put in dunk circle, and then we just wait until the first objectives come up, which is in about
just a few seconds.
Hold on.
Oh, objectives. Now. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. So yes, Goof gonna try to take those down. I mean, Pikachu obviously very great for taking these bees, taking any of the objective steals, Pokemon, wild Pokemon farm steals, we should say specifically. Chaotic right now in a little bit of trouble, trying to just kind of climb uphill, going up against a Lutano and Toon. When you got Dragonite and Lucario, it's gonna be pretty dangerous, and you're not backed up by your own Lucario, so definitely uphill climb right there. Tamagotchi crew kind of starting off a little bit rough. Obviously, we're just in that first 2 minutes, so certainly don't count anybody out yet. It's just we're noting that, hey, this score gap really widened pretty quickly.
Yeah, they applied the pressure to Chaotic. Chaotic couldn't really get to the healing points that he wanted to. But the Sleep Egg Morning trying to get Goof going their way, but Zugro going to answer back with a sleep of their own. And Goof getting the distance that they need. Egg Morning dropping really low as well, going to be able to get that HP from the goal itself, so staying alive there. But yeah, as you stated earlier, TTV, it's applying a lot of pressure early. We'll see if that changes moving into the next objective as well.
Certainly Toon going to be seeing Dragonite here very, very shortly. We do have Talonflame, obviously, the Talonflame evolution here, and Dragonite now we can confirm. So our junglers are set, you know, they've reached their final evolution, of course, but it all just is going to see, or it's all just going to depend on what kind of happens here in these last, each one of the objectives. We just have the bees coming down right now. We're going to have the Dreadnought, but are we going to see kind of a repeat of last time? I would say at this stage, kind of no is the answer, right? Because last time, you remember, Tamagotchi crew decided to just beeline it for the Rotom when all that unfolded. But at this point, we're seeing mostly it's looking like a play for the Dreadnought from both teams.
Yeah, and they're going to start it up here, and the Hyper Beam is going to say, no, Ivysaur, go home. The sleep coming out from Zugrug, trying to hold down Egg Hiroki, not going to quite go in their favor, but Momo in the back line, they're going to be able to bring him down. Egg Morning trying to keep the sleep going as the dive coming in from Chaotic, trying to steal that as well, but it's not going to happen as TTV is going to be able to lock that down. Lutano going to be able to grab that for them. So TTV now just chasing down Chaotic, trying to make sure that they don't get out here for free, and that's exactly what they do. Going to be pushing on forward into Tamagotchi's crew's scoring bubble, and if they happen to get it, it work out great. They're trying to get the quick score in there. There you go. And now they're just going to leave it at 2 until they can get it at a full break once again.
I want to just reiterate our love for the chat and let you guys know that we really do have some of the best chat here, in that you are never, you know, condescending when you let us know any of the flaws that are going on. You are correct. Cacholo, the global score right now was incorrect, but it's getting edited, and just as I speak, great job to our production teams to go ahead and change that up. So yes, it is, for anybody just now joining us, TTV that has the 1 win under their belts right now. And again, we want to thank you. You're very kind whenever bringing out any of these, you know, things that we can fix on the stream. Overall, though, Victory Road Unite, always here to bring out a good product for you guys. And we are now just about to enter the 5-minute mark. We are mid-game here in game number 2 in the grand finals, as you see that flame sweep. Very nice.
Yeah, that was just really good positioning by Chaotic, trying to get Goof down as well, and yeah, they're going to do that. So, yeah, the Unite move just being able to push them towards the team, not giving them any space to really run. So, good play by Tamagotchi crew to get a couple of people here, but TTV is saying, okay, you may have won bottom, but we're going to apply the pressure top now. So, yeah, and it looks like they are going to try to answer back up here.
And that's right, and we're seeing our chat also note that the Hyper Beam is so strong. This is absolutely right. I mean, even after the nerf, you're seeing that a lot of these are Hyper Beam plays. Dragonite can really turn the tides, let's say, turn the tables. Is that the right phrasing? But anyway.
Either of them.
Yeah, either of them. Both of them work. And so Lutano actually pulling out that Aura Cannon, kind of, I would say pretty good timing on that one. But right now, it's all going to come down. We've got another Dreadnought on the map. We've got a lot of, you know, kind of micro plays we can do in the macro sense of the game, if that makes sense. But Dread is kind of our next thing to observe right here, as Zug actually looking to me in a little bit of trouble based on HP, but still coming out of this alive.
Yeah, just going to TP home, get some HP going their way. Lutano kind of in a little bit of danger, but if anything, he's creating some time for the team to regroup and get ready for this fight. And that looks like exactly what they're going to do. Zug is starting out here with a huge Sing, but Egg Morning trying to return the favor. Cotton Cloud Crash coming down as well. Flame Sweep by Chaotic doesn't quite grab anybody, but the damage is still there. Toon still continuing on with the dance, trying to get that going for them. They are farming up whatever they can. Indie Bear trying to keep up Toon in the middle of this fight here, as the rest of Tamagotchi crew is slowly starting to surround this. Zug going for his Sing again. It looks like Lutano is going to be able to grab that last hit there. They're looking at Egg Hiroki is going to go and drop down. Zug going to be able to bring down the Eldegoss. So really clean fight by TTV, grabbing whoever they can and then letting the 50 dunk go over that first initial break. So yeah, just really good play by TTV after securing the Dreadnought, just being able to take away whatever they can. And we'll see if they go ahead and look at Rotom next.
It becomes sort of difficult, or very difficult, we can say, after you've done the Flame Sweep, after you were in that situation that Chaotic was in, where a lot of your allies are going down. It's looking like your momentum is definitely shifting against your own team. As a Talonflame, I think Chaotic kind of did the only thing that really they thought would be the best, which is to then try to just get the distance, pull the team away. So pull TTV away from that Dreadnought as far as you can before you actually die, because it does look like, of course, you're going to lose your HP. You're pretty certain. Well, Talonflame, obviously with the mobility and all, you can do that, and especially without Fly. That was kind of the last real push, you know, desperation right here. Gonna try to approach Goof, take him down. Very nice, though, from Goof. Also gonna turn the tides right there again. Gonna throw down the Unite, and then we're seeing that this is definitely an uphill battle for Talonflame. So yes, also supported by Indie Bear. That means that Chaotic is out of there.
Yeah, Goof played that so well. Tried to bait the Chaotic into a stun there. Gets that, pops the ultimate as well to hit the, you know, reverse Uno card on them. And that's exactly what happened. It was like, call an ambulance, but not for me. TTV is just going to continue to try to burst down the Zapdos as quickly as he can. The Flame Dive trying to come in, but it's not going to be enough. Slash Can's Verdant Anger isn't going to be there in time either. So TTV popping their ultimates, trying to continue on forward, giving them that shield and the speed that they need. They are kind of following the Rotom, just still continuing to truck their way towards mid. But the damage is already done. TTV scoring through, and another quick surrender coming out from Tamagotchi crew. So TTV just continuing to do what they do best, and Tamagotchi crew try to make the adjustment again. Going back to something that's a little bit more standard, they definitely put up more points this time. But I don't know what else they need to do. And I feel like that's why you get a coach. Like at this point, it's trying to figure out what does Tamagotchi crew need to do in order to answer back to this whole setup that TTV has. And if it is like, hey, maybe we got to change up our mid laner to be a little bit more tanky, that is an option. It's just, who are you most comfortable with running in this point?
Yeah, so it's going to be very devastating and very difficult if you are a Tamagotchi crew to come back from this. So Kanashi hit the nail on the head. I mean, that was something I was also trying to say is like, what do you do when you are sort of having the right ideas? Maybe you're trying to play and execute on each of those, but it's just not happening. We will see the teams, of course, rotate. But the other thing I wanted to add, you know, I saw Zoinks was saying like TTV, their bottom does be on top, you know, right here, and Lunacy was saying they dominate that bottom lane. I think it should be it should be noted that TTV, I think what they do especially well too is that it's the group fights. So every time that there's a squad fight, every time that there's a team fight, and by its very nature, if you're running 1-1-3, which all these teams do, your bottom lane is going to be a group fight, right? It's going to be relatively a squad fight. It's just with half of the squad, you could call it. And so that's kind of more the mechanic that's at work, but you have 3 players that all know what they're doing, right? So if you're on that bottom lane, you do have to come correct. I mean, it's just that when you look at the top lane, though, being soloed by Lutano, that's somebody who obviously holding that second place spot in Season 1 all throughout, while Zugrug had the #1 spot. It's like Lutano has just been dominating and mastered the Lucario play. So it's like their bot lane and their top lane is covered, right? And Kanashi and I have noted the mastery of Toon. So really, they are leaving no stone unturned.
They are going to... Slashcan this time is going to be on a Pikachu. So this is a slightly different pick from anything that we've seen throughout this tournament. So showing off, you know, maybe we do have to answer back with kind of something that is a little bit more standard to the current meta at the time. So deciding to go for that is going to be really big for them, and hopefully they'll have enough damage and pressure to keep that up as well. So yeah, I do agree that a lot of the pressure does come from not only playing bottom perfectly, but also having to deal with, you know, the imminent danger that Toon is in mid, currently farming and about to come down or come up to your lane and eat everything that you know and love. It's very scary.
That's right. And so it was, remember the old terminology? I feel like I coined this, not the phrase itself, but describing TTV as a symphony. So it's just like a symphony is being played. Everybody knows their instrument, they know how to do it perfectly, and it all comes together as this one big picture. And so they haven't really lost that, you know what I mean? It's like, even as much as people want to say, like, oh, they're a little bit shaky, they lost this tournament. Well, you know, that's like one tournament out of 5 or something. You know, I don't know what the exact rates are personally, because there are a lot of tourneys that happen just in general in Unite, and a lot of tourneys that I can't always be there for, but the point being that, you know, it's like TTV plays it like a symphony. And so Tamagotchi Crew, uphill fight right now. Of course, if you are just now joining us, this is the grand finals. TTV with 2 wins underneath their belts, and really just need one more in this best of 5 to best against Tamagotchi Crew.
So yeah, they need to secure this one in order to be, you know, grand champions of Unite Clash number 6. And that is the narrative right now. Tamagotchi Crew has to figure out how they're going to make the adjustment here moving forward, and TTV doing what they do best, applying pressure, not allowing, you know, anybody to really play anything, and Egg Hiroki learning that the hard way, trying to deal with Toon that's eating up their farm. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams go head to head once again. And this is, you know, backs against the wall for Tamagotchi Crew. So about trying to figure out the micro adjustments that you have to make, not only mid game, but like, you know, during the draft as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how the teams are going to be playing this out.
I think I'm seeing our chat had a question earlier about Goof's choice of the focus band on Pikachu. I'm sure Kanashi could actually expand on this a lot more than I could, but, you know, kind of questioning it as far as the bulk of the character, or lack of bulk, we should say, for Pikachu. The thing is about focus band, you're not always just talking about relying on bulk, although it does really help a character like, you know, Slowbro or whatever, Wigglytuff, to stay in these fights even longer. And if they're bulky, they can, like, you know, get half of their HP back and stay in that fight even longer. But even if you're not bulky, a character like Pikachu, and especially how Goof has played it, you know, we had plenty of moments where we saw, actually, if you were able to watch the last 2 games, there were moments where Chaotic, as that Talonflame, really could have turned this around on Goof and really tried to pursue that Pikachu and just take him out of commission several times, but he was able to flip it, both, like, all of those times that it happened, and the focus band was part of that.
Yeah, as you see, TTV grab all this moving forward. But if we're going back to the focus band, it's because of not just survivability. Some people forget that, like, you know, items do have stats.
Right,
and
yeah.
focus band gives plus defense and plus special defense. So not only does it make you bulky in that matter, but it also does give you that HP regen when you drop really low. So using that in order to just survive a fight is really big, but also using that in order to avoid, just in order to make sure that you can survive when you're low HP, or even back into somebody who can give you that HP buff, is really helpful. But yeah, it does come down to a matter of how you play. I've seen a lot of players either switch that out for, you know, just even more damage. You could go with like Wise Glass. We've seen players also use Buddy Barrier, because you get your ult relatively quick and use that in order to survive a fight and turn it around. It's just a lot of options. It really does come down to player preference, and whatever works for you, really.
So you do have to be frustrated if you are Chaotic right now. I mean, they were playing KFC so well and everything. It's just all of these techniques that they've had have met sort of that brick wall, and they've been turned on them. And so just like we mentioned with Goof, but also we just saw it probably about 30 seconds ago, maybe 35, and the Dragonite. So Toon essentially it was just one Brave Bird away, you know, one kind of fell swoop away from being KO'd, and then Toon at the last second pulls off that Draco Meteor, completely evades the attack, and then turns it around, you know, to have that Unite move, the Buddy Barrier, and all that. So you do have to be quite frustrated if you are Chaotic right here. I think you're trying to do everything right and just being outclassed. You know, you're just kind of getting outmatched right here by the Juggernauts of TTV, who will take that Dreadnought. So left side team, that's TTV, answers back with a Dread.
Yeah, and they're going to go for that quick score as well. You see them use the Dragonite ult just to get in here as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure coming out as Zogrug and Indy Bear are going to be able to find Tamagotchi Crew's Pikachu real quick. And Toon trying to deal some damage as well. But like overall, like just the amount of pressure, I mean, on Chaotic, like you don't have enough time to survive in these fights. I hate to say it, but like, you know, you're like getting bursted down so quickly because of the Speedster roll, and that's the nature of the Speedster. Yeah. You get in high damage, and then you try to get out. Sometimes getting out is the hardest part, and
so, yeah,
when you're Chaotic and you have very little HP and you get hit with a Hyper Beam, it's so tough to not only evade that damage, but also just survive that damage.
And so ultimately right here, we're going to see, you know, more goals being broken by TTV. They also got the Rotom. So just when you look at the macro sense of the game right now, it is looking to favor TTV. You don't really want to call it for either team until, of course, the final stretch and a little bit more has happened, or even some teams, you know, it's going to depend on the game. But obviously, if you're adapting to it, some teams get down to really the last 10 seconds or less. So we won't count anybody out. It's just as a general note, macro, look at the goals, look at TTV's score. They probably know it too. You know, they're pretty confident. They're getting those alerts that say you're on fire. Everything that we're seeing here on our spectator mode screen as well. So not looking super great if you're Tamagotchi Crew and you are down 2 games, but also right now down in this 3rd game.
Yeah, and it's just a tough like adjustment that you had to make.
Yeah.
You don't have like something that has worked for the past couple games. Like the overall the Talonflame worked out quite well for the most part, but once it came down to the amount of damage that they can deal, yeah, Tamagotchi Crew just couldn't find that level of pressure coming from Chaotic. I'm not only putting it on Chaotic either. Like the rest of the team has had level disparity issues moving forward, but like TTV, it just comes down to how well TTV farms the map. They eat up as much of the space they can, they get their levels, and then they just have level advantage moving forward throughout the rest of the game. So as you see right now, they're getting into position to just wait for Tamagotchi Crew to figure out which entrance they want to go through, because there's only really 3 of them that they have. So what is the play here? What are they going to try to do?
So ultimately here in this final stretch, we just do have to reiterate, it's quite the uphill climb. And again, to also reiterate another fact, as we see actually Chaotic going down there, I was just going to say it's not all about Chaotic, you know, it's not all up to them. They are so close to that 50, even had a shield. Just could not pull that out against Goof. GG with the Pikachu. So that would have been very nice because we would have closed the distance by 100 then. But no, still going to be quite a wide score gap right here in TTV to contest everything. But that is exactly the push that Tamagotchi Crew is going to need. They are going to pull off that Zapdos KO. And right now have those charge goals, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see, can they pull off? What a goal. Yes, that's right. Left and right, they are going to be scoring. Kanashi, what is going to happen?
I am sweating. I don't know, man. They got the Zapdos, and I said it's gonna switch a lot of things up if they happen to secure this down. So TTV had possession, like had really good positioning going into it, but now they have to play defense. Now that's the thing that Tamagotchi Crew has to realize. It's like, yeah, you may have gotten as much as you can off of Zapdos, but now you have to play defense off of this. Can you stop Lutano right now? And lucky for them, they do, but they don't know that, you know, they are just a little bit behind. How are you going to score in these last 15 seconds if you can? And do you know by how much you need to score by?
Yeah, so it's the uphill climb for them, right? They would have to get in this bottom lane, which they're trying to go for and they're trying to assault. We can see if it just happens. No, but actually TTV will score right in there, and that might have actually been devastating because somebody with lesser point values actually did score in to break the goal. You do want to wait for your 50s when that happens. You don't want to, put in 20 or something like that because that would be very important. But we did see, of course, TTV also getting in those goals just in the last 2 seconds. So there it is. That's going to be 6:45 for Team TTV, going up against the Tamagotchi crew at 377. Ladies and gentlemen, exciting there at the end. You were hoping for that push. It was just sort of that underwhelming Zapdos push after they had a little bit of momentum at first, Tried to really close that gap and just didn't quite do it. And so, Kanashi, time to congratulate TTV, am I right?
Yeah, good job on TTV and good job to Tamagotchi crew as well. They played as well as they could. There was just a couple of adjustments that, TTV was definitely ready for. But yeah, Tamagotchi crew did really well to obviously get to the finals. That's obviously one of the harder things to do as we take a peek at the bracket and their road here. It wasn't an easy one. Going up against a lot of these really tough teams. And yeah, congratulations to TTV for taking the win, the final one of the season. So yeah, they did a really good job keeping everybody in check. And yeah, I don't know if that was the overall, idea. Tamagotchi crew had the right idea to play what they felt most comfortable to, but TTV just had the right answers. Even with Zapdos loss, they understood they had enough pressure that you can't really let your foot off the gas even though you won Zapdos.
And another point that we should bring up that we actually have not mentioned this entire tournament was thank you so much to everybody who registered, who joined in on this tourney. We definitely had a large amount of participants, a large amount of teams that registered. So once again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Not only for that, but also to you, the viewers, for coming in and watching this. It looks like we're getting our word from HQ. We're going to sign off here, but I do just want to remind you, as Kanashi just kind of mentioned right there, please be sure to follow their socials. This is very good for Victory Road, not just following the Twitch page right now, but Twitter, that's a great way to get quick updates on the tourneys, especially if you have a team yourself, so that's a great way to get registered and all of that. But again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a lovely audience, and we'll be back in Season 3, right, Kanashi? So that'll be VR Unite Clash number 7 later on in the future.